welcome back. I'm setting up for another event. I tried to do a little time lapse yesterday and I was semi-successful, but then people came early, so I didn't want to film anyone. But I'm back. Today's event, after hours event, is a writing workshop, and yesterday we had a book launch by a local author, which was really nice. And it turns out that they had just returned from Oaxaca, and the husband is a food writer, and so he gave me a bunch of food recommendations, and I'm stoked. So yeah, welcome to this week's reading vlog. I wanted to commemorate the last week of summer. Well, summer to me, because it's the last week of work. In fact, I had a going away pizza party, and then I came here. So yeah, I wanted to document that. Oh God, what's my hair doing? I wanted to document that, and I wanted to also talk about the funnest book I've read all summer. It's been such a romp, and that is Story of a Lost Child, aka the final book of the Neapolitan Quartet. I forgot how incredible and addicting those books are. So I have been having a blast and a half. It's been like monopolizing all of my thoughts. I can't put it down. I've been going to sleep way past my bedtime because Elena and Leela just exist in my brain, and I just want to know so badly how that book is going to end. So anyway, apart from that, I did read some other really great books this past month, as well as end of July, I believe. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what I'm bringing on vacation, because I'm gone the next week to Mexico, which is why the Oaxaca stuff was relevant. And what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I don't know. I just missed you, so I'm back. We are outside of my public library. I have an appointment in an hour. I leave for Mexico tomorrow at 7 a.m. and I've done a really shitty job of capturing my last week, like I told you that I would. But here we are. I just picked up Like Love. I also have 2 bags of chips right here. Kettle chips, my favorite, as we know. So I went to the grocery store. They didn't have jalapeno, which is a-okay. I got cheddar and regular sea salt instead. Second best. 2 for $6. A steal, if you ask me. So I'm going to open up this bag of chips, start on Like Love before my appointment. And yeah, I won't update you on the reading I've done this month because I'm shy. No one's here. Like, we've got like an outside patio area, I guess, slash like vegetable garden, now that I'm looking at it more closely. And I'm alone for now, but people might come and then I'm gonna feel embarrassed that I'm out in public talking to myself. So I will save my thoughts for if I muster the energy when I get back home. If not, I'm gonna suck and just talk about my August reads when I get back, which is kind of annoying because this whole vlog was meant to be my last week, but alas, I literally didn't record anything. But like, not that you missed very much, to be honest. Like, I had a pizza party at work, slash like going away party, hence the pizza. What else happened? Yeah, I finished work. I packed up my things, my reading material, my speaker. I'm doing the carry-on life, so I mean, not a whole lot of room, and small articles of clothing. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy my chips here and my book. I purposely got this out of the library because I've heard mixed things, most reviews being very meh about this, which is so disappointing because I love Maggie, and maybe I'll have a different opinion for all we know. So I don't know. I'm not gonna bring this on vacay, so this is just my reading material for literally the next however many minutes I decide to sit here with my chips. So yeah. Hello, good morning. I am reporting to you from the YVR airport. There is not a single soul in this airport. I mean, to be fair, it is 5:30 and my flight isn't until 7:30, and I let fear dictate for me this morning because I knew that there wasn't going to be
that many folks here at this hour. But my mom was like, people are going back home, vacation's over, the security line's probably gonna be crazy. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll leave earlier. Literally, I was the only one there. It felt like VIP or something. I was let on, no problem. But anyways, I am going to drink some water, and then this is like ultimate brown bagging. But I travel with my tea and my little like tea satchel thing. So I am literally going to ask for hot water at the Illy? I never know how to pronounce that coffee brand. Anyways, that's the only place open right now. I'm going to ask them for hot water. I'm going to steep my own tea. Then I'm going to ask them for some milk and drink my own, I was going to say homemade tea, but I didn't make it. I just brought it from home in a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. Speaking of brown bagging, I don't think I've ever like packed like full-on meals, but because I have a long day ahead of me and like I don't know what the food situation is going to be, but I do know myself and I know that I'll be hungry, I literally made myself a chicken Caesar salad wrap and also a lentil salad. So like 2 full-on meals are in this backpack right now, and and chips and dessert, chocolate cake. So yeah, I really came fully prepared. Because from Mexico City, I have to go to another airport, and that's where I take off to Puerto Escondido. And I've never been to that other airport, so I don't know what the food option is going to be like, and I didn't want to risk it. So here I am with my 2 meals of the day. Anyway, but all of this really doesn't matter. I wanted to tell you, though, that my reading material for the trip is 1Q84, which I bet none of you saw coming, but I had every intention of bringing Burnham Wood with me because I started, like, I'm 30-ish pages in, and I thought that would be like a fun beach read. But then I was talking to Pato, and then they mentioned 1Q84. I don't know why they mentioned it, but they did, and I was like, bro, that's perfect, because my best friend Zoe, who is the reason why we're going to Mexico, she gave me 1Q84 like years ago. I want to say in like 2020 or something, because that's her favorite book, and I have just always been very intimidated by the size, and quite frankly I just never felt the pull to read it, apart from reading it because it's my best friend's favorite book. And I just thought when Pato said it, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to start that book. Zoe's gonna be so pleased when she sees me at the beach, pull out my read, and she's gonna notice it's the 1Q84 that she always says, like, it's just collecting dust, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's the reading material. I'm also bringing the Ross Gay poetry collection, which I told you about, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be so corny, but I don't care. I'm literally gonna gather the masses and read out loud the beautiful words of Ross Gay. So I can't wait. Anyway, those are all of my updates now. I will check back in later. Literally all by myself over here, which is great, just how I like it. But yeah, off we go. I guess now this is turning into a travel vlog, which I didn't anticipate, but here we are. This is what you get for my lack of efficiency on the last week of, I was gonna say it's last week of school, last week of work. Anyway, talk to you later.
Good morning from Mexico City. I just woke up, hence the appearance. I'm really sorry. I've got my hair in a clip and it doesn't look very good. But I was just reading and I felt compelled to say hello. So here I am. Don't mind the state of affairs. Just focus on the background. I mean, this Airbnb is maybe the most beautiful apartment I've ever stayed in. The owner is a anthropologist and her parents are artists, so literally every single piece in the space has a story, and we went like frame for frame talking about art, and it was really lovely, and I just feel so happy to be staying here because it's stunning. So I'm here by myself for the next few days because my girlfriends and I split up for a little bit. Some are in Oaxaca, where we were just at, and before that we were in Puerto Escondido, and then one of our other sweet friends has left back to Vancouver. So yeah, that's where I find myself. I'm just enjoying solitude for a little bit and reading in Spanish, folks. Yep, that is the challenge I have set for myself. Actually, it's not even a challenge. I really was excited about going to bookstores, mainly because I wanted to get my dad a book, and then I felt really inspired, and I've just been feeling extremely inspired this entire time I've been here. I feel like Mexico provides, especially Oaxaca and Mexico City, provide this like portal through which I can access Venezuela, which sounds strange, but yeah, there's like a sense of familiarity in both of those places that is just really lovely and like nostalgic, but also really happy and great. So all of that to say, I've been like very immersed in just like being back in Latin America and speaking Spanish with all my friends. And I was just in the store and I thought to myself, oh my God, I am going to see if they have any Fernanda Melchor books and read them in Spanish, since I absolutely loved Hurricane Season. She's also Mexican. So I don't know, I just thought it was an opportune time to dabble in Spanish literature, and here we are. I bought Falsa Liebre, and I don't think this has been translated, so it's kind of, I don't know, been a cool experience. To be fair, I'm only 13 pages in. I just started it like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, and I'm going very slowly because I want to absorb everything, and I also need to like oil up my gears in terms of like reading in Spanish and just like reading comprehension. So I suppose it is a challenge because obviously it's a muscle that I have not like exercised at all for a very long time. It wasn't until this summer at work where I had to read Spanish jurisprudence, so like Spanish cases from like Ecuador and Bolivia, and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's go. I mean, on top of reading in Spanish, it was like legal jargon that I just had never ever been exposed to. But anyway, that just got me thinking like, man, I really should start to just like incorporate more Spanish literature and just like, I don't know, hone that skill, or move around that muscle. But anyway, I just am so excited to read this. I love Fernanda Melchor, and this sounds really interesting. It follows 3 characters, I believe, living in the north of Mexico, and I believe their stories kind of come together somehow at some point. I'm not really sure. I'm purposefully leaving it kind of ambiguous and trying to see where the story takes me, but I'm really excited about this. I also have on my list Yuri Herrera, and I plan to go to a couple of bookstores in Mexico City, and I'll be on the lookout for that. So yeah, that has just been super, super nice, to be honest. And just speaking Spanish in general has like sparked something in me that has just been so lovely, just generally speaking now, that has nothing to do with like reading, but I have been like hanging out with more people that speak Spanish, and it's just been so nice because that hasn't been a part of my life in a long time, especially because I moved away, and the only like constant Spanish that I have in my life is like speaking to my parents, but I wasn't like living with them, or like we weren't like interacting on a daily basis. So I didn't know that I missed that, but I did, evidently. So anyway, that has been great. I started at this really beautiful bookstore. If you are in Oaxaca City, I highly recommend checking out. There's 2 other ones that I went to that were also really stunning, but like, can we just take a minute to appreciate the business card? Oh, I just thought it was so gorgeous. Anyway, this is the information of the bookstore. It's like in a little plaza. So there's like a health food store, a clothing store, a little like juice bar, and then the bookstore. But anyway, absolutely beautiful. Oh, I also got an art book. Oh, I should get it, but I'm also lazy. I'll put it up here. It's my first art book. I was in there with my friend Lenny, and she's like very artistic. And so she was obviously browsing that section, and she was gonna buy it, and I browsed through and I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And initially I saw the cover and I was drawn to it, but I was like, don't pick it up because you might want to get it, and we don't have a whole lot of space. But obviously I had to get it. What else have I acquired? Well, I didn't acquire this. I brought this with me, and I mentioned this to you already, but Catalog of Unabashed Gratitude by Ross Gay. Me and Lenny read some poems and it was so beautiful. I have got them all on the Ross Gay bandwagon and that makes me really happy. We even watched an interview by him and just like his voice is so beautiful and you can just, it's like honey. Like I just absolutely adore him and this was just really just sweet and I can't wait to read more. Probably gonna sit back there and read some poetry as well because yeah, this is just exactly what I thought it would be and I've been trying to add poetry into my life and I don't know, it's interesting because the stuff that I've tried to read in the past just doesn't hit. So I'm just like, am I a sociopath? Like, why is this not like gripping me at all? Like I'm reading it and I'm like, okay. But it's just a matter of like similar to like literally everything, but it's just a matter of finding like the specific type of poetry that you know hits you or like similar to like music and other literature, you know, like you just kind of have to find your rhythm and see what works for you. And obviously Ross Gay poetry works for me because I just love it. It's been, I mean, I've literally just read like 5 poems, but every single one I'm like, this is so beautiful. Let me just reread that one line or like, let me read this like little thing out loud. And yeah, so it's been a interesting process for me in terms of finding poetry that speaks to me, but I have found it and I'm just really happy that I brought this along with me and yeah, just to share that with my friends was really nice. And what else? Speaking of sharing and friendship, not sharing, more like friendship, but I think I told you at like literally 5 a.m. that I decided to bring 1Q84 with me because that's Zoe's favorite book and she gave it to me ages ago. I completely neglected it for literally 4 years. And finally, I have started it. I'm like 100 pages in and I mainly brought it because I wanted to honor my girl and finally read it. And for the first time, I was actually compelled to pick it up. So that has been a really interesting reading experience. It's very like traditional in its form. Like it's very much like plotty and story and like there's an element of mystery and like intrigue of like what's happening. Are these stories going to come together or are they just going to run in parallel? But yeah, we follow this woman who actually, I'm not going to tell you the plot. That's like a very known book and you probably all know it and have read it and I'm the last of the party to do so. But yeah, I've been enjoying it, to be honest with you. I've read it in like such short bursts because me and my friends have just been like yapping away and there's been like minimal reading time despite me still waking up so freaking early. Oh, it's so annoying because obviously we go to sleep late, either like we're going out or we're like talking into the night, but my brain is like up and ready to go at like 7:30 every morning. So sometimes I do sneak in some reading, but I think it'll do me some good to just, I don't know, make a slight dent in that book and rather than just reading like 5 pages at a time. But so far I'm liking it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like blown away. There's certainly like, I'm curious. Like I want to know what's going to happen with these characters, but I have to say like so far the writing isn't like, oh my God, you know, like I'm not having a like Rachel Cusk, like aha moment or a Sheila Heti moment or anything like that, but I am enjoying it. Like it's pleasurable. It's like I'm watching a movie, you know, like I'm just sitting there like, okay, like interesting. Let's see where this goes. But I'm not being like blown away, at least not yet. But then again, it's like literally a whole brick. It's like a gajillion pages long and I'm only like 100 and something pages in. So like, we have a lot to go, you know? This is a marathon, not a sprint. Anyway, that's all that I've been reading on this trip / I have bought on this trip. I don't really want to talk about what I read. Sorry, I keep on like teasing you that I'm going to talk about it. But I'm just like lazy and I want to actually like think about what it is that I want to say because I did read some like really phenomenal stuff and I don't want to come on here and be like, it was amazing, and then just leave it at that. But I read In Love by Alfred Hayes, I think, The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez, and Story of a Lost Child by Elena Ferrante, and also the last that being the last of the Neapolitan Quartet. So I don't know, I want to do those books justice, so let me just think about it a little bit, maybe type something. No, I was gonna say, let me like type up a little review so that I'm not all over the place, but that's also just not me. So know that it's coming. Those reviews are coming, but right now I'm just now blabbing and scatterbrained, and my tea is kind of hitting. So I'm just gonna sit here, collect my thoughts, and then we shall share what I thought of those books in a little bit, instead of me just saying like, it was awesome, which they were. I honestly enjoyed all of them, some more than others, but if I had to rank them, it would be Story of a Lost Child, The Vulnerables, and In Love. So there's a teaser. Catch you in a little. Hello, welcome back. You have been missed. I have been MIA, but we're back. It's back to school time, which means that I have done minimal school and I'm procrastinating by filming this. No, that's partly true, but also partly not true. Let me catch you up on what has been going on before we start chatting books. Hi, sorry, I was getting too hot in my sweater, so we needed an outfit change. But as I was saying, I wanted to catch you up on the clips that you hopefully just watched, because I kind of tried to record some things, although I was, to no one's surprise, bad at it. I just kind of forgot. But yeah, to catch you up, I went to Mexico for a couple of weeks with my dear friends, and that was honestly epic. It was beautiful. I came back home for one day. I saw Boo's ex-mom, and that was also lovely. And then I went to Maui with my mom for a week. So hence my absence, which is no excuse because I wanted to film something before I left and then I just got lazy, which I think I've mentioned at some point in this video. But anyways, that does not mean that I have not been reading. I have, and I can't wait to talk to you about it, but I feel like I need to do a recap of what I read in August. I'm gonna try and go as fast as humanly possible because it's like this like homework and burden that I have at this point where I'm like, you haven't talked about the books. And now I'm like, I don't even remember the books. So anyways, I'm gonna try. Okay, first book, well, actually first couple of books I have here with me. First one being In Love by Alfred Hayes. And this was a recommendation from my dear friend Pato. They really loved this book and I also loved it. However, well, no, I also liked it. However, that does not demerit their opinion or their connection to the book. I just think that part of your reading experience and what you think of a book is informed by what was going on in your life when that book found you. And with me, this book found me at a time where I wasn't in the melancholic kind of feely, thinky, romanticizing of my past type mindset. So it just didn't quite hit as I feel like it could have if I just read this before, after my breakup, or at a time where I was feeling like sad girly. I don't know, but all that to say, I did appreciate the writing. There was just like some parts of it that I just found like a little bit, not even cringe, but it's just like this book is dated in my opinion. So a lot of the ways in which the female character was portrayed, I just like was icked out by it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this was written in the 40s, so yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Really beautiful writing. I liked the story, but it didn't like stick with me, and I'm not like here thinking about these characters anymore, you know? Like I couldn't even tell you how this book ends. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, Paja, I still love you. Okay, the next book I read was the last of the Neapolitan Quartet. And speaking of reading a book that you're like emotionally connected to, is a series that I've been reading now for 4 years. Like every summer I've read one of these guys. So yeah, I have like this weird like connection to this quartet, as well as I'm really bad with time and just I have a shitty memory. So it's really nice to have a companion piece for these past 4 summers and like a reference point, because I can very well and very clearly tell you what I was doing, like where I was at when I was reading these books. So for that alone, I'm very appreciative, because it serves, like I said, as like a bit of a timestamp for me personally. But yeah, this was beautiful. Don't have anything important or like groundbreaking to add to the discourse. If you are a curious individual and you preoccupy yourself with talking to your friends or even yourself about relationships in your life, or dissecting relationships, or being critical and like really wanting to flip a relationship inside out, then you're gonna eat this up. Like this will be your catnip, because that's essentially what it is. It's just the exploration of a friendship through the eyes of one of the friends. And you're also kind of wondering like, what would a book or a quartet be like of like Leela's POV instead of Elena's, because all 4 books are written from the perspective of one of the friends. Anyways, all that to say, if that's the kind of thing that you enjoy and you just like human interactions and exploring in depth one relationship and the people that, or the constellation of folks that make up that friendship and that world, then you're gonna love this. And I really loved it, like I said. And then I don't have the other book I read in August, or at the end of August, but that was The Vulnerables by Sigrid Nunez. And I love and appreciate that woman's voice and what she writes about. She could write like her grocery list and I would like eat it up. I just adore her. I understand why maybe there wasn't as much hype for The Vulnerables, although I do think it deserved it. Although it was like more of a quieter novel, if you will, especially if you compare it to The Friend, which I don't think you should. But yeah, it centers around the experience of a woman living through the pandemic in New York. She's a writer, she's not married, and she enters into this peculiar like housing arrangement where she takes care of a bird from a family friend's friend, while also sharing that space with a college grad or dropout, or yeah, I think he dropped out of college. Anyways, but a much younger guy who's also sharing space with her. And we're just inside this woman's head. We are experiencing the pandemic through her eyes. We're also experiencing her own life when she was younger, because there's like some flashbacks to like conversations she's had with friends. And I just really enjoy that type of novel. Like nothing happens. You're just there for vibes. So if you're not vibing with her writing style, you're going to freaking hate it, because nothing happens in that book except for a series of conversations she's had in the past with friends. Her philosophizing about her life, loss, friendship, the pandemic, love, I mean, all sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, that book is just showcasing Sigrid Nunez writing style and what she preoccupies herself with. And I ate it up. Also, it was speaking of like companion pieces, I read that on the Sunday of the Venezuelan elections, which I really deeply needed something to chew on and fixate on, because the results of that election weren't going to be known to me until the following day. So I'll always remember that book, because it truly saved me from like spiraling into like anxiousness and anxiety about what was going to come of it, which nothing good came of it. But anyways, if you are at all interested in what is happening in Venezuela, I will put some articles down below. But yeah, that was a book that came into my life at the perfect time and sort of like held my hand, because I literally went to the beach and I did not leave the beach until I was done that book. So yeah, it was perfect. Okay, then, wow, I spoke really fast, but I'm really happy I got over that, because that was honestly like keeping me up at night, being like, you need to talk about the books that you read in August. Okay, now catching you up to like what I've read since August on my travels. So I brought 1Q84. I made it through page 102, and I think I showed you this already, but I'm holding on to this because I just think it's beautiful. And yeah, it's just your typical story. It's plotty, it's moody. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gripped by it, but not enough to like run home and pick this up, because I did not bring this to Maui with me. And in fact, I have not picked this up since Mexico. Sorry, Zoe. But I promise I'll get through it. I promise. Like I'm not DNFing this by any means, but I will be reading stuff like as I dip in and out of this, because like, I mean, this is like a tome, you know, like it's heavy. So yeah, those are my thoughts, like literally no thoughts apart from what I've already shared in Mexico with you. And the reason why I didn't bring it to Maui with me is because I needed to read Like Love by Maggie Nelson, because I got that out of the library and there was like a massive hold, so I didn't want to hold on to it and deprive somebody from reading it. So I quickly finished that on vacation, came back, and I dropped it off. And to be honest with you, that one did not hit. Nevertheless, I'm a complete Maggie stan. There were a few essays in there that I did like. She made me want to read My Struggle. She made me want to also read Ben Lerner's work. She reminded me of the magic that is Bjork, an artist I really like. I really liked the interview she had with Eileen Miles, but that's about it. And nothing, okay, this is interesting because she spoke a lot about artists and writers that I was unfamiliar with. But for whatever reason, and this sounds really mean to say, there was no part of me that was curious to look further into who these people were apart from just getting through the essay. And I kept on comparing that feeling of like disinterest with when I was reading Funny Weather, by Olivia Lang. And it was the complete opposite reading experience. Like I was very unfamiliar with like most of the people that she spoke about, but there was something about that essay collection that made me curious and yearn to know about further about the people that she was talking about. So I would constantly be looking these people up as I was reading her work, and I just wasn't compelled to do that with Maggie's introduction or discussion around these artists and people that she admires. So I don't know why that was the case, but they just didn't hit. And I also felt, and you're only going to get this reference if you've watched The Bear, but it sort of felt like season 3 of The Bear in the sense that it was just like a filler book in some ways. Like it was just a culmination of a bunch of pieces that she'd written for either like magazines or that art galleries or museums had asked her to write an introductory piece about the artist's work. Like it just felt like, okay, Maggie, like you got to pump something out, girl. Like give me what you got and, you know, let's go. So I don't know, it just felt like a filler piece where like there was nothing added apart from, yeah, just like seeing Maggie Nelson's name on a new book cover kind of thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is like very harsh and I still love her. And another thing the only thing that it did do is it made me want to read Acts of Cruelty and On Freedom, because I think those have something important to say, and those are like she's adding something to the discourse and to her oeuvre, whereas I feel like Love is just kind of like filler, like here's something to satiate you until I post something else of like further substance, you know? Anyways, very mean. I really hope she's not gonna watch this anyway. I'm now being cocky, being like, she's watching me. She's not watching me. Anyways, I still love her. I'm I'm a Maggie stan. I personally would just say, don't spend money on the hardcover, and also maybe just skip it altogether and just read the Argonauts, read literally anything else. So that's something I just finished. And then I came back and I realized that I never finished this I brought this to work and I thought this would be like my little like lunch read, but then I got very busy the last few weeks of work and I just never finished it. And it's A Leopard Skin Hat by Anne Sayre, and I really like this. It is a tiny, but boy is she mighty. I'm gonna refrain from speaking more in depth about this until I'm done. I'm like halfway through, but I just wanted to pick this up again so that I can just like finish it. I hate having like too many books on the go. So anyway, I'll probably finish this today. And then from the library, speaking of essays that may be a flop, I don't know, because I remember again at work reading a book forum article about this, and it was like a scathing review. It was not pretty. So now I'm like a little intrigued to read it, but I know Jalen really loved it and a few other friends. So this is No Judgment by Lauren Euler. She is a literary critic. She wrote Fake Accounts, which I loved. Another polarizing read, by the way. So yeah, I am very intrigued by this because of the polarizing reviews. But yeah, looking forward to this. Also have to like zip through this because this has got a massive hold, and yeah, so I'm gonna do this today and then start chipping away up at this tomorrow, and I'll let you know what I think. And then, oh my God, okay. I came home from my travels and I had a book waiting here for me. And my dad's like, oh yeah, there's like a package there for you. I open it up. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Penguin Random House Canada. When I got the email that they're like, oh, Ignacia, we want to send you like a finished copy, I was like, oh my God. Thank you. And then I just kind of forgot about it because they emailed me while I was on vacation. And then I came home to this and I was like, thank you to the literary gods. I am so excited to read this. I'm going to lend it to all my friends because I have some library stuff to get through, like I said. And my friends are like, we're like number 350 on the library wait list. And I'm like, here you go, babe. So anyway, yeah, I'm just so honored to have this in my possession. I cannot wait to read this. I freaking love Sally Rooney. So yeah, and it's really beautiful. The Canadian cover and color, I'm really into. So anyway, that is it. I am sorry for speaking at you so fast, like faster than usual. But yeah, hopefully I'll be back here very soon. I am in school. I think I mentioned that already, but I am in school. I'm just living in Vancouver. So that's why you see or will be seeing this background for a while. Anyway, that is all I have for you. I hope you've enjoyed this very long and all over the place vlog. Hopefully we'll be seeing each other soon. I am working here and there at the bookstore, so you might be seeing that in the fall and winter, so something we can both look forward to. And yeah, let me know what you've been reading, if anything that you've read in these past few weeks and transitioning into fall has been any good. I've been loving the library, so if you have any backlists that you think I should read, let me know so that I can get it at the library. Anyway, sending you all a lot of love, and we'll talk soon. Bye!